Public hearing for September the 9th, 2019 to order, and we have two items under the public hearing. One is Tangipahoa Parish ordinance number 19-37, an ordinance placing a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit on Junior Feets Lane in District Number 1. Anyone here to speak on that matter? Okay, item 2 is an ordinance amending the meeting location of Recreation District Number 3, that's the Amite area. Anyone here to speak on that? Okay, I will close the public hearing, and I will call the Tangipahoa Parish Council meeting to order. I'll ask Mr. Forrest to lead us in the invocation, and Mr. Bruno to lead us in the pledge, please.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here safely tonight. Look over those who are unable to be with us. Thank you for giving us the wisdom and knowledge to bring the parish this far. We ask for guidance to lead us into the future. Be with those that are fighting for our country, those here and those abroad. Look over us, guys. Lead us in our daily lives. Forgive us when we fail thee. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Face the flag. All military personnel, retired and active, give the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All righty. Would you call roll, please, Kristen?
Mr. Forrest?
Here.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgel?
Here.
Mr. Mayu? Here. Mr. Wells? Mr. Vial?
Here.
Mr. Levine? Mr. Cortez?
Here.
Okay. Adoption of the minutes of the, cell phones. Anyone have one? Please silence it. Adoption of the minutes, regular meeting dated August 26. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cortez and I think Mr. Forrest on the second. Would you call roll, please?
Mr. Forrest? Yes. Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
All right, public input. Anyone wishing to address agenda items which were not on the public hearing? No one? Okay. Mr. Miller, Parish President's report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We only have a couple items on the agenda. The first one is approval of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Hammond Rec District and parish government of us for Tillman Park on Old Baton Rouge Highway. Many of you know about there is a park on Old Baton Rouge off of Old Baton Rouge Highway. We reference it as Tillman. It was under an agreement with a church group that has kind of fallen apart, reverted back to the parish. We've done some work to kind of get it in shape, and Chapapila has, Hammond Rec District has stepped up to have a program out there for that side of the parish, and to, after we kind of got it into a certain condition, for them to take over it and run it, maintain it, and provide services to that side of the parish. So we're really looking forward to this opportunity for the citizens down on the south end, and we greatly appreciate Chapapila looking into doing that, and we really appreciate the opportunity to enter into this agreement with them.
What, Ryan?
Ryan, you have any comments, or Guy? I think Ryan Barker here, who is heads the rec, Hammond Rec, and Guy Ricotta, who is, are you president's board now, Guy? Okay, who is on the board. And any comments, Ryan?
We're just really excited for the opportunity to offer our programs and extend that to the west side of our district, honestly.
Good.
That's been a complaint is transportation getting to Chapapila, so we're excited to have some space to where we can host several recreation youth programs. So.
Are you just going to put some ball fields out there? I mean, I don't know if it's that big.
Yes, sir. It's a green space right now, and we plan on painting football, soccer fields just as needed on that green space. Yes, sir. And there's also we're going to add some playground equipment. And try to restore the basketball court that's there.
Was that enclosed? Didn't they have a closed building in there?
There is, yes, sir.
You do anything with that building? Or?
Yes, sir. We're going to determine if it's salvageable,
right.
If we can, and yes, sir, we'll use it for storage and offer some other classes.
Good stuff. Mr. Mayo, it's your district. You have any comments?
Yeah, that's a project that I've been working with Robbie and Mr. Barker and the board. Try to get opened up. It was abandoned for a good while, and they're going to come in and go in there and get it cleaned up. The parish is gonna do a little work, get it cleaned up, and then we're gonna go in and they're gonna take over. Chapel Field's gonna take over for baseball, football, in that general area over there. I think it's gonna be a good deal for the neighborhood. Everybody's excited about it.
Any other comments on the board? Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Bruno. First, Mr. Mayhew. To approval of a cooperative endeavor. Call roll, please.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Thank you. You'll be back in a few minutes, though, right? Okay. Approval of tire bid.
Approval of tire bids. We have various bidders who won the different tire sizes and all that. It's in your packet with the appropriate ones. There's several of them. So if you have any specific questions, obviously Donna will be glad to answer them, or anybody in the administration has that information. But there's multiple sizes, multiple vendors that won it.
Any questions from the board?
So moved.
Entertain a motion. You got Mr. Bruno the first. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mayhew. This is approval of the tire bids. Call roll, please.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr.
Mr. President, anything else?
One note of interest. On Saturday, September the 21st, that's prior to our next meeting, is the 150th celebration that the parish is having. It starts off here. We're going to have a time capsule. There's a parade. There's events at the arena all day. What time does it actually start, Rhonda? 8:30 here, then the parade at 10. Everybody got all that?
I didn't get all that.
8:30, time capsule here.
Here, 8:30.
10 o'clock parade starts at the junior high, and they meet, junior high? Elementary, and they meet. And then at noon, we start at the arena with an afternoon of events. So it'll be our, kind of the culmination of the 150 year of Tangipahoa Parish this year.
And it's a celebration. It's all free to the public at the arena?
All free to the public.
So please
Everything's
come
there.
out.
Communities are there, organizations are there, a lot of good fun.
Great.
So that's
Thank
all
you.
I have. Any questions?
I do.
Oh, yes, sir.
I do. I know periodically we send crews out to check road lights, make sure they're still burning and everything.
Yes, sir. Actually, we started that process again the last few weeks. So they're going through all of the lighting districts to check them and mark them, and then let Entergy know. As you know, the process is we have to identify them and then provide it to Entergy. Entergy gives it to their contractor, and they get it done. So it takes it's a process, but it has begun.
Okay, thank you
It's a
so
good
much.
process because we pay so much a month per
Absolutely.
light, whether they burn or not.
Whether they're on
So
or not. So
I know we did this a couple of years ago.
Right. And I think we need to maybe try to look at doing a little bit more often now.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you. First item on the regular business is Hammond Area Recreation District update. Mr. Ryan Barker, Director. While he was here tonight, we asked him to give us a little update on what's going on at Hammond Rec.
Thank you all.
Good to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm just here to give you kind of where we stand, a little status report from all of 2018 and the first 6 months of this year. And I'll start with our youth programs. We take a lot of pride in those. We actually, our staff gets to run them. We try to preach to our student athletes that it's more than a sport. We try to teach character development within our programs, and we feel they are successful. We're partnering with the schools in our area to try to reinforce their values inside of our sporting programs. And we offer 9 different sports, nine different programs to the youth. Right now in our fall sports, we have our flag football, volleyball, and soccer. All of our sports are co-ed. All of our sports are both male and female, and they're playing together. I'd say between our programs that we offer and the schools in our district, we're servicing right around 2,200 student athletes right now, which is a good number and a growing number, but we're still trying to get more active and involved and playing sports outside. We do have adult programs that are co-ed as well, with volleyball and softball and flag football, and we're servicing right around 350, 360 athletes in our taxing district. From there, I'm going to roll into just our events, our weekend events. We're at about 71, and This is to serve our local organized teams that play travel sports from lacrosse, soccer, baseball, softball, basketball, volleyball, Gracie United Martial Arts. Between all those sports, we host these events so they don't have to get on the road and travel far, as well as we bring in outsiders into the parish, and they're spending money at our restaurants, our gas stations, and our hotels, so we greatly appreciate them. And we work with Southeastern Business School to conduct an economic impact study every year, which is showed that we're bringing in about approximately 80,000 people a month, and because of that, we've generated about $10.6 million into our parish based off of these events. And we feel that we're doing good because the businesses are reaching out to us. What can they do to partner with us? And it's going well. So off of our events, multiple sports, it's doing good for the economic impact in our parish as of now. We also take pride in our community give back events. Last year we hosted 5 STEM events. These are all free to the children in the parish, and they're ran by teachers, educators in this parish, and they're all free events. We had some citywide play days where it's kind of where this idea started. We move around Hammond. We take our philosophies, our programs, our equipment, our team, and we'll go have a citywide play day at another park in the area, just to show that we're here to support all students. And that's been really successful. We do an Easter egg extravaganza now. That's gotten well over 1,000 people coming to it. We offer a toy drive where we partner with CASA, and we were able to generate enough toys for CASA to give every child in their, I believe it's 10 districts, don't quote that, every child in their district a toy, and that comes from us, as well as partner with Tangipahoa Parish on the job fair, and we really appreciate y'all bringing that to Chapapila. And the last thing I'll leave you with, we started a little campaign. It's called #ShareTheGame. We've been trying to get involvement from the community in some form or fashion, whether it was donate your time, come coach a team, donate your old equipment, or just scholarship and sponsor a child. So if you see that and you don't mind, please share that, or you know of a child in need that needs to play sports or needs to get active, bring them our way. We'd love to give them an opportunity to play some sport. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time. And more importantly, thank you for the opportunity to bring some activities to Old Baton Rouge Highway.
I have one comment. I know
Sir.
that's probably enhanced the kids' participation, being able to put something on the west side of the town of Old Baton Rouge Highway. But I mean, you guys are doing a great job. I mean, it's all for the kids, getting them involved in all this. But from an economic development standpoint, it's really serving a dual role. This park is really generating some dollars. You threw $1 out a month ago. It's a lot of money. And I have a curiosity question, because you've told me about this one before. How many vehicles a year go through that park? I think you told me once before.
So right now it's at about 80,000 a month.
That's
so
amazing. I mean, you think about that.
I'd have to bust out my calculator. I'm not going to
Just think about that a little bit, okay? That is amazing.
Well, you stole my thunder. I was going to say, you think I might find another out too?
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Planted the seed. So
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. There are some problems.
Them lines get long.
With success comes some problems, and we're trying to work on another outlet of that park. Any other comments from anyone from the board?
Brian,
yes, sir.
you mentioned that y'all have some tournaments. Didn't we have like a huge lacrosse tournament here? Some state or regional?
We did. It's actually a regional qualifier. It's the Sugar Bowl. They moved out of New Orleans and chose to come to our venue. It's been the 4th year now.
Right.
So it's the All-State Sugar Bowl Invitational that's held at the facility. So
Ryan, my compliments. You're doing a great job.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
what you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is adoption of Tangipahoa Parish Ordinance 19-37, an ordinance placing 50...
Mr. Chairman, we don't have a quorum right
What
now.
happened here? Who left me?
Buddy walked out. We got to wait for him to come back.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that.
You got something that doesn't require a vote.
Something else fine.
Vote, no.
I don't have any legal matters.
We will sit quietly for a few
Wait
minutes.
till you.
Now, Mr.
We'll
Rizzo.
have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzo. You snuck out on me. Okay, the next item is ordinance 1937, placing 15-mile-an-hour speed limit signs on Junior Feets Lane in District Number 1. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Forrest is the first. Is there a second?
Second.
Second came from Mr. Cortez. Would you call roll, please?
Mr. Ristall?
Yes.
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Okay, item 5, adoption of an ordinance amending the meeting location of Recreation District Number 3. That's the Amite area.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bruno. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. May. Would you call roll, please?
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ristall?
Okay, item 6, and I'm gonna let Mr. Cortez talk about this in a minute, but basically, this was about refinancing some bonds at the landfill, and the Finance Committee met before this meeting, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Cortez for the outcome of that meeting.
Okay, the Finance Committee met, we discussed this item. There's still a lot of questions need to be answered, so at this time, we're just going to pull it from the agenda.
All right, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to pull.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Rizzo's a second. Would you call roll, please?
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ristall? Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes. Okay, we have, I need 2 amendments here. One is a change order request for overlay, and you should have that in your packet. Tangipahoa Parish Government Contract Change Order. I think there's some, it's in your district, Mr. Cortez. I think there were some streets in Ponchatoula
Right.
that are going to have some type of utility-type work, so rather than go overlay those streets and have to come back and redo them, we're going to make a change.
That's correct. We
So
had
this is to amend the agenda
This is to amend the agenda, yeah. I'm
for
sorry.
that purpose. A second?
Move to amend it.
Second from Mr. Forrest, so call roll, please.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ristall?
Yes.
Mr. Mayu? Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, this, I'm sorry, you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
This contract was part of the contract to do Barringer Road and 7th Street, Ponchatoula. We were informed by the city that they've got some maintenance and some work they're going to do on some utilities that would probably tear the road up, so we're swapping them out, these 2 roads for another 2 other roads in my district, same amount, same road distance and everything. So we're taking off Barringer Drive and 7th Street and replacing them with Craft Road and Duvik Lane.
Okay.
I'll
And for
make
the
a
record,
motion.
there will be a decrease of $22,765.
That's correct.
Is there a motion?
That is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mayu, first by Mr. Cortez. Would you call roll, please?
Mr. Forrest? Yes. Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ristall? Yes. Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Okay, the other one is, this is a request for a variance mobile home. The existing structure has .992 acres of property, so it's .78, I guess, short, or .008 short. So this is in district, somebody help me,
Mr.
Two.
Joseph's.
Mr. Joseph District.
Hey, Nick,
Could you come up to the podium, please, Nick?
this one, what was it changed to put 2 on an acre, on less than an acre? We changed the amount that a variance can be given, you remember?
We talked about changing that to 2/10 of an allowance within that, for the allowance of
So
an acre.
he's within,
Absolutely.
This is
within
at
tolerance.
.008, as
That's
I read
correct.
this.
So this was a
I might have read it wrong.
.998 of an acre parcel.
Yeah.
But they're requesting, last year y'all passed some legislation, or earlier maybe this year, some legislation that just requires a half acre specific to a manufactured home. So even if it's a lot of record, whatever it may be, y'all have some specific regulations now for manufactured
so
homes.
it's 2/10,
Is the allowable amount.
That's
that we
correct.
discussed. Yes, sir, but this is
but this one's not even,
$210,000.
Not even a
.008.
tenth.
of an
Not even a
acre.
tenth.
We're talking about like the size of this podium.
okay, I'll make the motion for Mr.
All right, this is to amend, and a second by Mr. Rizzo. Would you call roll, please?
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ristall? Yes. Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes?
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Okay, I need a motion for approval.
I so move.
Mr. Bruno, and was there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Mr. Mayu. This is for approval. Would you call roll, please?
Mr. Ristall?
Yes.
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Yes. Mr. Bruno?
Okay, let's see, we got one of, this is a beer, wine, and liquor. We have, Sing LLC, Boss Travel Plaza number 7. And Carlo, I think this is you.
Who's that?
You.
Like just change
It's
it, looks like change
442
ownership.
West, 13154,
That's mine.
442 West.
Meets all the qualifications. So moved.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Bruno. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Forrest is a second. Would you call roll?
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgel?
Yes.
Okay. Legal matters. Anything, Mr. Speed?
Nothing.
Mr. Bruno, any legal matters? Okay. Councilman privileges. Anyone?
I got one, and
Mr.
actually,
Cortez.
I'm gonna take Mr. Joseph's thunder since he's not here. And Chief Traer's here, now, you got something coming up next week, that might want to remind everybody about it one more time.
Chief, you want to take the podium, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you very kindly for the opportunity, and I know it's redundant, but I stand before you tonight telling you it's day after tomorrow, Wednesday morning at 8:30, our annual 9/11 memorial ceremony at Station 1, and we consider it an honor to have y'all's presence, and that goes for the listening public out there and watching on TV and the people in the audience. We're going to have a little different program this year than what it's normally been, so we're just going to kind of surprise you with it. It's some changes to it, but we're willing to take a chance and make it a little bit better and different than what it's been in the past. So if your schedules allow, y'all, certainly we would appreciate your presence Wednesday morning at 8:30.
Wednesday morning, 8:30. Got it.
Thank you, sir.
Any other councilman privileges? There being none, is there a motion to adjourn?
It's a nice thing, I can't.
So moved.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Some ayes. No objections. Meeting adjourned. Have a good evening.